Today we're talking about a very great opportunity on the stock market. Activision Blizzard. The stock is trading between 75 and 80 bucks. However, Microsoft offered $95 a share. The transaction is expected to close in 2023, probably on the second half of that year, but still it's a pretty nice premium, right? 20 to 25% up if the transaction closes. Now, there's obviously a catch, because if not, this stock would trade at a lot higher price. We're going to look at that today, and I'm going to also show you why Activision Blizzard is a great stock, regardless if the deal goes through or not. Dividend Growth Investors, bonjour. My name is Mike Yehu, and I am the founder of Dividend Stocks Rock, and I'm also the host of this YouTube channel where I can help you invest with more conviction so you can enjoy your retirement. Speaking of retirement, let's be honest, Activision Blizzard, not exactly the typical stock that you want to have in your retirement portfolio unless you focus on total return. The company pays an annual dividend and the yield is not incredible either. Regardless, it keeps growing. But what really caught my attention was all the bad press that this amazing company had at the end of 21. The thing is, the company went into a massive bad culture, sexual harassment stories. Upper management knew about it, so they had to clean up that mess. But let's be honest, it's not all employees that were wrong in this situation. It is important to address that fact and to deal with it. But now that the cleanup is under progress and that Microsoft is looking to buy this company, I think it makes a great opportunity. So Activision Blizzard, you know what I like about this business model? It's super easy to understand. They make games and they make fun games. We're talking about Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Overwatch. You have Hearthstone if you like to play cards and do strategies, World of Warcraft, Diablo, and they are present pretty much everywhere. So the attraction here is the quality of the franchise. Even if there are tons of video games, whenever the company launches a Call of Duty, it's a first-person shooter, but nobody makes them like they do. And a lot of players are just waiting for the next iteration, the next level, the next option where they can buy a subscription. They can upgrade their character depending on the games, spend more money. So there's a lot of recurring revenue also. When you look at where the revenue is coming from, surprisingly, it's coming a lot from mobile devices. You also have about a quarter of sales coming from PC. The other quarter is coming from console like PlayStation and Xbox, but 50% of the revenue are coming from mobile. Now, if you look at this graph, you'll notice that PC and console games are going down this year in revenue. Don't put too much attention to it. That is the nature of the business model. Whenever there's a new title that comes up, sales go through the roof, and this is what happened in October, which is not included in the results until September 30th, right? So in October, we had the latest Call of Duty that broke all records. We're talking about the fastest title to reach $1 billion in sales, and we're also talking about the fastest in terms of subscribers and active time plays for the first 10 days it was launched. In 2022, the company was late on a few titles. Now they're back on track, and gamers, they were just waiting to buy those new titles and to invest a lot of money to buy those games. In terms of geographic diversification, you can see that about 60% of games are sold in North America, but they still have a strong presence in Europe and also in Asia. Overall, the company has plenty of great games. They're selling everywhere, and they're investing massively in developing new games and new title all the time. It's pretty much a strength and a weakness at this point, because if there's a failure, if they're late in another title, obviously sales are not going to be as strong, and this is what happened in 21 as well. Now they look to be on path, but what I like is every time that they get a new title on, gamers are still very loyal and they just want to play those games. They're their favorite franchise and they just love it. Now, if we look at the dividend triangle on this one, it's a bit shaky. We have a great distortion due to COVID-19. Obviously, a lot of people during lockdowns, they were just sitting at home. They didn't know what to do, so they started to invest a lot of money in gaming. Besides that, I think that the gaming world is growing all the time. We have access to not only those teenagers that are spending a lot of time on their PlayStation and Xbox, but a lot of young adults, and actually adults in general, are now playing different types of games. This is a place where it's going to continue to grow. The fact that a lot of those games has recurring payments or upgrades that are available creates another source of revenue. And as you can see, for both revenues and earnings, it went a little bit down for 22, but you can expect a big jump in 23 due to the latest title of Call of Duty. The thing is, it's a little bit like a movie business. Whenever there's a new title that comes in, then you're gonna see the sales explodes. So another thing I like about Activision Blizzard right now, it's its valuation. If you look at the PE ratio, of course it looks completely ridiculous at 35, but when you look at the forward PE ratio, you can see that the company is trading about at 25 times the earnings. Still, it looks like it's a big thing, but when you compare at the history of that PE ratio, you can see that at many times it was trading around 30, sometimes 35. Seems to be pretty much a good average for this type of business. It shows double-digit growth rate in general as well. And as the gaming industry is not a dying business, but more likely a growing business, Activision Blizzard is one of the top leaders in this industry. They will continue to surf on those tailwinds. So regardless if the deal with Microsoft goes on or not, you don't really have to worry about it because the core business is still very solid. So now let's end up this video and talk a little bit more about the deal with Microsoft. The thing is, they made that offer at the beginning of 22, but you know what? There was a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of regulations that needs to be looked at, and regulators are taking their sweet time. Obviously, Sony, which is main competitor against Microsoft, because Sony has the PlayStation and Microsoft has the Xbox, they were just raising their hands like, hey, you cannot do that. I mean, we're going to lose those franchises, and it needs to be available on both PlayStation and Xbox. You cannot let Microsoft run away with all of those great titles. We need them. It's like not good for competition and so on. But then my guess is Microsoft will probably likely say, you know what, you can still have those titles on PlayStation, and we're just going to make a lot more money based on the subscriptions going to create. The cloud services will be able to offer, and also another door that could be opening for them is the door to the metaverse. Right now, it's not the buzzword it was 6 months ago, but the future of gaming is definitely in the metaverse, meaning that you're going to have an immersive virtual environment, and there's nothing better than a video game company to make that happen. With that purchase, Microsoft would become the third largest player in the gaming industry. So again, not the biggest one. So there's a good chance that the deal will go through, but there is definitely a high level of uncertainty. And this is why there is a big difference between the offered price at $95 and the current price that is below $80. Long story short, I'm expecting to make that 25% premium when the deal closes, but I'll have to wait another maybe 7, 8, 9 months to make it. When you look at the current state of the market, when the market goes down and then you have a stable valuation for Activision Blizzard right now with a potential of maybe 20-25%, that seems like a pretty interesting deal to me. Again, that's not financial advice. I urge you to do your own due diligence, but I do have Activision Blizzard in my portfolio. I bought it at the end of 21. Ironically, I sold a few shares of Microsoft to rebalance my portfolio, and then I'm buying Activision Blizzard, and now Microsoft is going after this company. But anyways, I was quite happy with how it turned in 22. I'm expecting another bump, double-digit growth in 23, which could be quite interesting considering all the craziness that is happening right now. So I'm holding on to my shares for that time, and after that I'm just going to cash it and redistribute that all elsewhere. I don't want to have a bigger portion of my portfolio invested in Microsoft. It's already a large holding of mine. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about Activision Blizzard. Are you a buyer? Do you think that the deal is going to go through? I believe so. So I'm curious to know what you think about it, and we're going to talk about it in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. And we're going to talk again next week. So until then, stay invested.